I still can't believe Donald Trump won. Oh, Jesus, there.
1 foot in jail, you will be picked up by ICE.
Elias Mendoza is a Sacramento-based immigration attorney. He says the legal battle for undocumented immigrants to stay in the country is getting harder and harder every day.
And it's been literally since 2017, January 1 until now, a constant change of almost every 2 months of some internal policy changing procedure that literally affects how I operate as an attorney with the cases and the families that I represent.
And further complicating things is he says many clients come in too late for legal help.
This last week I've had to turn down at least 6 or 7 different bond cases that I have no time to handle, and it breaks my heart. It does. I don't have time to go help them.
But Mendoza says it's better to act now rather than to wait.
They should seek out what benefits they can, because it's more than likely there's something they can do or there's nothing they can't do. And it's better to know instead of living in fear and pretending that you think everything's going to be okay.
38-year-old Armando Nunez Salgado of Napa, a documented Sereno gang member with criminal convictions for assault with a deadly weapon, burglary, hit and run, and evading a peace officer.
Yeah, and immigration advocacy groups tell us that ICE appears to be focusing more on individual targeting rather than large raids that we've seen in years past.
Armando Ponce was detained yesterday morning while doing yard work, and according to the Immigrant Rights and Education Network, this was one of several raids across the East Bay, and many of those detained had deportation orders.
I talked to him, and I'm like, well, what did they ask you? He's like, well, they just asked if I was Armando, and the only thing I said to them was what? And then they just handcuffed me and put me in the car, and they checked his wallet. Obviously, he had his ID, and then they arrested him.
Here's what ICE is saying about these arrests. ICE focuses its enforcement resources on individuals who pose a threat to national security, public safety, and border security. ICE does not conduct sweeps or raids that target aliens indiscriminately. Also, all of those in violation of immigration laws may be subject to immigration arrest, detention, and the statement went on to say sanctuary cities and states are not immune from federal law.
James Carafano, a Trump transition advisor now with the Heritage Foundation, supports the president's approach.
It was not meant to be a different form of permanent migration. It was meant to be a humanitarian gesture for people to come to the United States because they were in peril, and then when conditions in their country were acceptable, the notion is they would go back home.
A single mother of 3 fighting cancer has until Thursday to leave the country or face being deported.
She's 52 years old, has no criminal record, and was given no explanation from ICE, just a deadline.
Yeah, the Lozano family is fighting to stay together, and with March 1st just days away, they are making every minute count. On the same day, Jonathan Lozano's 52-year-old mother, Martha, was on her way to the hospital for surgery. His father was being pulled over, handcuffed by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, and forced to leave the country. Now, almost 10 years later, the family's dealing with the same problem. ICE wants Martha Lozano to leave the U.S. by Thursday. She has battled 2 forms of cancer, raised 3 sons, and recently became a grandmother. She does not have a criminal record, not even a parking ticket. Lawyers have been requesting a stay of deportation for the last 9 years, and this year the request was denied.
I mean, we don't really see the reason why. It's just like your time's up and that's it. They don't really give any explanation of why or how come they don't want to extend her period of time here anymore.
After being in the country for 30 years, a Modesto woman who is already fighting cancer will now also have to fight deportation. 52-year-old Martha Lozano had been ordered by an immigration judge to leave the country by Thursday.
But her lawyer says if she leaves, she'll miss her cancer treatments. Fox 40's Doug Johnson spoke with her today.
52-year-old Marta Lozano, who spoke with us through a translator.
Por el tratamiento que estoy recibiendo. Y la preocupación del doctor. Ese es el temor.
That's my fear. My kids staying here in the U.S. without me, and then I'll be sick in Mexico. It's hard. This will be our second separation as a family.
Lozano, who has no criminal history, does have an attorney. But as of right now, that attorney says she has exhausted all legal options. Lozano says she still plans to fight to stay in the country for her youngest son.
I have one child who I still need to take care of and fight for. I fought for my other kids so they can finish school. I want the youngest one to have the same opportunity and accomplish his dreams too.
Yeah, Lozano's doctors also sent letters to ICE, but all to no avail, and she has been given until Thursday to leave the country. Lozano is an undocumented immigrant, and while in years past she's been granted immigration extensions to continue her treatment, this year ICE denied her request, saying her cancers have been in remission long enough that she should be healthy enough to return to Mexico. But that would leave her 3 sons, ages 25, 22, and 14, here all alone.
Since Sunday, ICE agents have arrested 150 people in Northern California alone. The deportation officers say they're targeting people in violation of federal U.S. immigration laws. 2 people from Sacramento were detained. One, a citizen of Mexico, who ICE says has criminal convictions, threats with intent to terrorize, battery on a police officer, and is a documented gang member. The other person is originally from Guatemala. ICE agents say that individual, who also hasn't been named, has a criminal conviction for false imprisonment.
While I am very committed to being a law-abiding citizen, I feel confident that my sharing this information, because I did not receive it through official channels, is legal, and frankly, it's my ethical obligation.